Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about something pretty fundamental. It's this idea of the person you think you are versus the person you truly are. So let's dive right in. Okay, let's just start with this question right here because it really gets to the core of everything. Think about it. We all do this, right? We define ourselves by our jobs, our roles as a parent or a friend, our relationships. But what's left when you take all of that away? Who are you, really?
For most of us, that sense of me is built on stuff that's always changing. It's like we're building our house on sand, and it can feel pretty shaky.
And these are the usual suspects, aren't they? Our job title, who we are to other people, a mother, a father, a friend. We define ourselves by what we've accomplished, what we look like, even what society expects of us. The thing is, the source material we're digging into points out a huge problem with this. When our circumstances change, and they always do, it feels like our entire self is changing right along with them.
Yeah, and that's the real kicker, isn't it? What happens when you lose that job? Or when a relationship ends? Or when, you just don't look the way you used to? If our whole identity is wrapped up in these temporary things, well, our sense of self is going to be super unstable. So how do we deal with this instability? Well, the sources we're exploring here introduce this really powerful idea. It's a way to shift our whole perspective. It's this distinction between our identity and something the source calls our entity. Okay, let's break that down. All right, so think about it like this. On one hand, you've got your identity. This is the external you. It's kind of like the character you're playing in the movie of your life. The roles, the results, the relationships. It's defined by what's outside of you, and it's always, always changing. But then you have your entity. And that's the real you, the inner essence. It's not the character, it's the actor playing the role. It's your core self, that constant, unchanging part of you that's just observing the whole journey. And this line from a poem in the source material, it really takes this idea to another level. I, the entity, you, the entity, we, the entity. What it's getting at is that on that deep core level, the entity level, we're all connected. It's like we're all made of the same fundamental spiritual stuff. It goes way beyond all the surface level differences of our identities. Okay, so if our identity is like a boat being tossed around on the waves, what do we hold on to? How do we find any kind of stability when everything is always changing? Well, the answer is you've got to find your anchor. The source material calls this your anchor. It's this stable foundation of self-worth that's based on that unchanging inner part of you, your entity. And the key thing here? It has absolutely nothing to do with your performance or what other people think or your circumstances. It's independent of all that. So, where does this anchor actually come from? The source suggests it's rooted in this deep, fundamental knowledge that you are loved and accepted, period, unconditionally. Now, you can call that God or the universe or just a core spiritual presence. It doesn't really matter. The point is, it's this feeling that you are worthy just as you are, without any of the external labels. Okay, so let's say you find this anchor, you connect with your entity. What then? I mean, how does that actually change the way you deal with all the ups and downs that life is going to throw at you? Let's get into that. Life is never a straight line, is it? We're always feeling like we're being tossed from side to side. We swing back and forth, from feeling uncertain to feeling certain, from dealing with stuff we don't want to chasing after the things we do. It's this constant push and pull. And man, is that cycle exhausting. The source calls it energy draining and life sapping, and that's exactly what it feels like. You're constantly burning all this energy just trying to get from an uncomfortable place to a comfortable one, and then the whole thing just starts right back up again. So what's our first instinct when this happens? It's to fight the waves, right? We see a tough situation coming. That's the wave. And our immediate reaction is to just push back against it. We tell ourselves, no, this shouldn't be happening. But what if there's another way? The source invites us to stop fighting the waves and instead learn how to ride them. It's not about liking the wave. It's about accepting that the wave is here and then finding your balance. And what keeps you steady? That's right, your anchor. And when you make that shift from fighting to navigating, something really profound happens. You start to see that the whole point of the journey isn't just about getting to some final destination. There's this quote in the source material that I just love. It says, "The beautiful lesson in every step, the result is the path making it worth traveling." I mean, wow. It completely reframes everything. The real result isn't some goal you hit at the end. The result is the path. The lessons, the growth, that's the actual prize. So, what are these lessons we're learning on the path? Well, for one, we learn that we're a lot stronger than we give ourselves credit for. We learn that our inner anchor is way more resilient than we ever imagined. And we start to see that every single event, good or bad, is actually there to help us evolve. It reminds us that we're all just a work in progress, and that's totally okay. So that brings us full circle, right back to a question. If the journey really is the destination, if every single step is a lesson, then what is your path teaching you right now, today?